Welcome to another deep dive. You know that feeling of being stuck? Like you're capable of so much more, but something's holding you back.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's kind of what we're tackling today with Prometheus Rising by Robert Anton Wilson.
Excellent choice.
We've got excerpts from the book itself, intros by Wilson, and even some commentary from Israel Regardie.
Sounds like we're going deep.
We are. It's going to get pretty meta, but by the end, you'll have a whole new perspective on what you're truly capable of.
I like it. So what's the big idea here? What's Wilson trying to tell us?
Well, the core concept is that humanity is stuck in this kind of evolutionary adolescence.
Okay, I can see that.
We're clinging to these outdated primitive brain circuits.
Holding its back.
Exactly. And the book is like this guide to break free from those limitations.
So evolve.
Yeah, to evolve into what he calls cosmic Prometheus, achieving our full potential.
And how does he propose we do that?
That's where his 8-circuit model of consciousness comes in.
8 circuits.
Yeah.
That's where it gets interesting.
It does. Each circuit represents a different level of processing, from basic survival instincts all the way up to, like, a quantum level of consciousness.
Whoa, okay. Now I'm really intrigued.
I told you it gets meta.
It does. So these circuits, are they like physical parts of the brain?
Not exactly. It's more like a framework for understanding how our minds work, how we process information and interact with the world.
A map of consciousness?
Exactly. And Wilson claims that by understanding these circuits, we can hack them.
Hack them. You mean manipulate them?
In a way, yeah, we
Yeah.
can reprogram them to overcome our limitations and tap into those higher levels of awareness.
And this is where his ideas about brainwashing come in, right?
Right. He doesn't shy away from the darker side of this, like how these circuits can be hijacked by cults, propaganda, even everyday social conditioning.
Okay. That's a little creepy. But I see the point. So where do we even begin with these 8 circuits?
Well, the first 4 circuits are like the foundation of your personality. They're shaped by your genetics and early experiences.
Our primal wire.
Yeah. They're mostly unconscious, but man, do they ever have a powerful influence on our lives.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's start with circuit 1.
All right, so circuit 1 is all about biosurvival. It's the most basic primal circuit wired for survival.
Fight or flight.
Exactly. It kicks in the moment we're born. And it's all about seeking food, safety, and security.
Makes sense. We're pretty helpless as babies.
Totally.
Huh.
And Wilson uses this really fascinating example to illustrate this. He talks about a baby giraffe.
A giraffe?
Yeah.
How does that fit in?
Well, this baby giraffe's mother died shortly after it was born.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it was, and the only thing around was a Jeep.
A Jeep.
Yeah, so the baby giraffe imprinted on the Jeep.
It thought the Jeep was its mother.
It did. It even tried to nurse from the Jeep.
That's both heartbreaking and kind of hilarious.
It is. It shows you how powerful these early imprints can be. They shape our whole understanding of the world, even when they're totally irrational.
So circuit 1 is all about those early imprints that determine how we see safety and danger.
Exactly. And how those imprints can stay with us throughout our lives.
Wow. This is making me think about my own childhood. What kind of imprints am I carrying around without even realizing it?
That's the thing. We all have them. And they're often unconscious, which makes them even more powerful.
Okay, so what's next? What about circuit 2?
Circuit 2! That's the terrible twos circuit.
Ah, yes. The tantrums, the power struggle.
Exactly. It's where our sense of self starts to develop our ego, our territory, and those big emotions like anger and jealousy.
We're learning to navigate the world, asserting ourselves.
Exactly. It's like we're figuring out our place in the pecking order.
So from survival to social dynamics.
Precisely. And this sets the stage for Circuit 3, where language and logic come online.
We become thinking beings.
We do. We start building mental models of the world, making sense of things.
And this is what makes us uniquely human, right?
Well, according to Wilson, there's a catch.
Oh, there's always a catch.
There is. He argues that we can get trapped by these mental models.
How so?
We become too rigid in our thinking. We create these belief systems, and then we reject anything that doesn't fit neatly inside them. So our ability to think can also become a limitation.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like we build these little boxes for ourselves,
Yeah,
and then we get stuck inside them.
this is getting deep. I like it. So what's next? Circuit 4.
Circuit 4. This is where things get a bit more interesting, shall we say.
Interesting. How so?
Well, this is the sociosexual circuit.
Ah, now we're talking.
This is where all our ideas about morality, social roles, and relationships come from.
The things that make us human.
Exactly. But Wilson is quick to point out that a lot of what we consider moral is actually just cultural programming.
Meaning?
Meaning that what we think is natural or right or wrong is often just what we were taught by our society.
Oh, okay. I see where this is going.
He uses the example of sexual taboos, which are completely different depending on where you grow up.
Right. What's taboo in one culture is perfectly acceptable in another.
Exactly. So it makes you question what's really natural and what's just a product of our conditioning.
This is blowing my mind. We've only covered the first 4 circuits, and I'm already questioning everything I thought I knew about myself. And we're just getting started.
Wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, this is where things get really interesting. We're about to move beyond those foundational circuits and explore the higher levels of consciousness.
Higher levels. You mean there's more to consciousness than what we've just talked about?
Oh, much more. We're just scratching the surface.
I'm both excited and a little terrified to hear what's next.
Oh.
Let's dive into those higher circuits.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're moving into the higher circuits now, the ones that can really blow your mind.
I'm ready.
Hmm.
Let's talk about that bliss circuit.
Hmm.
You know, the holistic neurosomatic circuit?
Right, the fifth circuit.
Yeah, Wilson makes it sound pretty amazing.
It can be. Think of it like this. Have you ever been so absorbed in something you love, where time seems to disappear, and you're just completely in the flow?
Yeah, like when I'm writing a really good script or lost in a good book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a taste of what the fifth circuit is all about. Heightened sensory awareness.
Yeah.
A sense of oneness with the universe. Pure joy and ecstasy.
That's pretty blissful.
It is, Wilson even compares it to a state of polymorphous perversity, where everything becomes intensely pleasurable.
Okay, that sounds a little wild.
Well, he was known for his provocative language.
That's true. But I get the idea. So how do we tap into this circuit? Is it just about doing things we enjoy?
That's part of it. But Wilson also points to practices like yoga meditation and even certain altered states of consciousness.
Okay, so we're talking about things like psychedelics.
He definitely explored those, but he also emphasized that these states can be accessed through a variety of means.
So it's like we all have this potential for incredible joy and connection within us. We just need to learn how to access it.
Precisely. And then we have the sixth circuit, the collective neurogenetic circuit.
This is where things get really trippy, right?
It can imagine tapping into the collective unconscious, these shared memories and archetypes of our entire species.
Whoa, are we talking about psychic powers here?
Not exactly, but it can feel that way. Wilson describes it as experiencing a sense of oneness with all living beings, past, present, and future. It's about transcending the limitations of your individual ego and tapping into a deeper level of awareness.
So it's like we're all connected on some deep subconscious level.
In a way, yeah. It's a very Jungian concept.
That's both beautiful and a little bit spooky.
It is. And this is where synchronicities start to pop up.
Synchronicities? You mean those meaningful coincidences?
Exactly. It's like the universe is speaking to you in a symbolic language, guiding you towards your destiny.
Okay, I'm definitely going to need some time to digest this one. But let's move on to the seventh circuit, the meta-programming circuit.
Ah, yes. The circuit of self-awareness.
This is the one you said could really change my life.
It has the potential to. It's the circuit where you become aware of your own programming, the beliefs and patterns that are running in the background of your mind.
And once we become aware of them, we can change them.
Exactly. That's the key. You can challenge limiting beliefs, install new, more empowering ones, and literally rewire your nervous system for greater happiness and success.
So you're telling me I can change my own brain?
In a way,
Yeah.
yes. Your brain is incredibly plastic. It's constantly adapting and rewiring itself based on your experiences and thoughts.
That's incredible, but also a little bit scary. If I can reprogram myself, doesn't that mean other people can reprogram me too?
That's a valid concern. And it's something Wilson addresses directly in his discussion of brainwashing. He shows how manipulators use techniques like isolation, emotional pressure, and repetition to implant new beliefs and behaviors.
Okay, that's definitely something to be aware of, but it also makes this meta-programming circuit even more important, right?
Absolutely. The more aware you are of your own programming,
Mhm.
the better equipped you are to resist manipulation from others.
So it's about taking control of your own mind, becoming the master programmer of your own reality.
Precisely. And that leads us to the final and most mysterious circuit, the non-local quantum circuit.
This is the one that really pushes the boundaries of what we consider possible.
It does. Think of it like this. Imagine a level of consciousness that transcends space and time, where you're connected to a universal network of information.
A cosmic internet.
You could say that Wilson was drawing inspiration from quantum physics and mystical traditions.
So what's the practical application of this quantum circuit? What
Yeah.
can we actually do with it?
That's where things get really interesting. Some people believe this circuit allows us to access information from beyond our normal senses, to tap into a collective consciousness, or even to influence reality with our thoughts.
Okay, now we're venturing into some pretty far-out territory.
Here we are. But Wilson was never afraid to push the boundaries. He wanted us to question our assumptions about what's possible and to embrace the mystery of existence.
That's for sure. So we've covered all 8 circuits, from basic survival instincts to a cosmic internet of consciousness. It's a lot to take in.
It is. But remember, this is just a framework for understanding. It's a starting point for exploration.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Now that we've laid the groundwork, we can start to explore how these circuits play out in our lives, how they can be manipulated, and how we can use them to create a more fulfilling and meaningful existence.
All right, I'm ready for more. Let's get practical. How can we actually use these ideas to improve our lives? Okay? So how do we actually use this knowledge to, improve our lives, make it practical?
Well, one of the most interesting things Wilson talks about is the potential of neurotechnology.
Neurotechnology? Like what specifically?
Well, he was writing back in the 70s, but it's crazy how much of what he envisioned is becoming a reality now.
Give me an example.
Okay, think about brain-computer interfaces.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Devices that could directly interact with our brains, or electronically stimulating specific circuits to induce altered states.
Like literally hacking your own brain.
Kind of, yeah.
It's both amazing and terrifying at the same time. What are the implications of that?
Wilson saw both sides. He saw the immense potential for good, like using this technology to enhance our abilities, treat mental illness, even help us evolve consciously.
Conscious evolution. What does that even mean?
He believed that as we unlock the secrets of our brains and our genetics, we'll be able to make conscious choices about the direction of our evolution.
So you're saying we could potentially design our own evolution?
In a way.
Yeah.
Think gene editing, neurosculpting, even designing new senses or cognitive abilities.
That's a lot to take in. Are we talking about becoming transhuman, like cyborgs or something?
It's a possibility. But Wilson didn't advocate for any specific outcome. His point was that we need to start thinking about these things now, before they just happen to us.
Have these conversations about the ethical implications and what kind of future we want to create.
Exactly. Do we want to enhance our humanness or transcend it altogether?
Yeah.
These are big questions.
And I don't think there are any easy answers. But I appreciate that Wilson makes us think about them. It's not just science fiction anymore. It's becoming our reality.
Right. And this ties into his idea of the global brain.
Global brain, what's that?
Wilson saw humanity becoming increasingly interconnected through technology and communication, forming a kind of collective intelligence.
Like a hive mind.
Not quite. More like a network of minds, sharing information, collaborating, solving problems together.
So accessing all the knowledge and creativity of humanity instantly.
Yeah, kind of like a superbrain.
That's a powerful idea. But is it realistic?
Wilson believed it was inevitable. He saw it as the next stage of our evolution, a move towards a higher level of consciousness, a planetary awakening.
That's an incredible vision. But it's also a little daunting. Are we even ready for that kind of interconnectedness?
That's the challenge, isn't it? To evolve not just technologically, but also emotionally and spiritually, to learn to collaborate, to empathize, to see ourselves as part of a larger whole.
It's a tall order, for sure. So Robert Anton Wilson, he really challenges us to level up in every way possible.
He does. But that's what makes his work so compelling. He pushes you to question everything, to expand your awareness, to become a conscious participant in your own evolution.
Well, this deep dive has certainly opened my mind to new possibilities.
That's what we hope for. Remember, you are the programmer. You have the power to rewire your own brain, to challenge your limiting beliefs, and to create a reality that aligns with your deepest values.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you for taking this deep dive with us into Prometheus Rising.
Always a pleasure. Until next time, happy deep diving.